Tonight's guest is rapper, songwriter and mental health advocate, UK Craigie.
Thank you very much for having me. It's so nice to be here.
Cheers. Welcome to Drinks with MJ.
Thank you very much. It's so nice to be here.
You're welcome.
I'm really excited to be here.
I'm so excited.
I love everything that you do. I'm a big fan. I saw the stuff that you did last season, and my missus loves you as well, by the way.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'm really glad to be here. I'm glad to be here with you. Thank you very much.
Love all around.
Yes, exactly. Positivity.
Positivity, absolutely. Yes. UK Craigie?
Yes.
When did you start rapping?
I used to always use music as a tool. Like, it was always a way to cope. I'm dyspraxic, right? So.
Me too.
Boom.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Wear that crown all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. No shame in that at all. So at school, I was always kind of treated a little bit differently. I was the example. I was the kid with the untidy writing. I was the kid with the bad attitude. I was the kid who was always lazy, who was always late, who was always unprepared. And
is that looking in the mirror?
yeah, it really affected me, like self-confidence, everything. It just really affected, because it was like, what's wrong with me? Why is this happening? Because nobody really explained. Then when I was about 10 years old, it was like, well, you've got dyspraxia. Still, again, no massive story of, well, this is why and this is what it means.
Yeah.
Just, you're dyspraxic. Have a typewriter sometimes to do your work. You can have a scribe when you've got an exam, but other than that, you're on your own. So music was always my way to escape. Home life wasn't that great. I love my mum to bits, but she really did struggle. You know, single parent, older brother as well. So music was always a way to kind of cope with my problems. A lot of mental health problems that I really didn't understand because my situation was so badly explained to me. So writing songs, writing whatever, just getting the pain out there. I used to listen to a lot of hip hop, but like back in those days, it was like the ultra violent stuff, so you'd live vicariously. I'd be listening to loads of 50 Cent and NWA and stuff. Yeah. And obviously, I can't relate to that business. Like, so it was like, oh, I'd never be a rapper. These guys are way cooler and they've got way more guns than I own, because I don't own any. And then I heard, it was Kanye West's first album. Boom. It was like one of those light switches just went off. He's rapping about his feelings, his insecurities. He's wearing pink polo shirts. He's telling us about his problems, his relationship with his grandmother who passed away. And I'm just like, what? It, honestly, MJ, blew me away.
Was that the moment for you?
Yes, that was that. Okay. That was that moment that just blew me away. And I was like, if people would listen to this, then I think people would listen to me. Maybe I've got a little bit of relevance. Maybe I could do this. So I just started taking it a little bit more seriously. I bought this really, really crappy microphone. It was like a £5, like from some dodgy market.
Did it do the job?
I mean, a bit.
Happy days.
A bit, yeah. And then a computer. And I just started writing and I was recording, and it was dreadful, but I was like, I was just made up because I could get this out. And then I started to work on the craft, and my eldest daughter, Lily, was born. She's 9, she's beautiful. She was born, right? And I think to myself,
hi, Lily.
Yeah, I think to myself, now's the chance to really make a go of this. Now I can really, like, I've got a purpose now. Yeah. I've got somebody who needs me and somebody who will always need me. Yeah. You know.
How old was you when you? Because I'm dyspraxic as well, and I speak very openly about my dyspraxia.
Absolutely.
I was 5 years of age, and when I actually got my doctor's diagnosis, but when I was 1, no, sorry, probably a bit before 1. How old were babies when they can crawl? They're like, what, a couple of months, aren't they?
Yeah, like
I couldn't crawl, Craigie. I couldn't crawl. I couldn't. My mum put me on the mat, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't move. I was just looking at her. She had the camera out. My dad was like, "Come on, and I couldn't move."
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I was dead similar. Like I wouldn't crawl or walk, and I just used to roll over and like shuffle on my bum. Yeah. And then my mum took me to the doctor. And he was just like, well, he's just a boy, he's just lazy. Like, there was no kind of, just fully missed. Like, all of the signs were just fully missed. I was like 10 years old when I got a diagnosis. And then, like I say, they just chucked me in a class with a support teacher once a week. Got me a hand.
Do you remember the moment you were diagnosed? Yeah. Remember how did you, if you can remember, how did you feel in that moment?
I didn't feel any different, like, because it wasn't really explained to me in any kind of way. It was just like, oh, well, I've got something wrong with me, but I'm still messed up. I'm still, you know, like my self-belief and self-confidence was just, it didn't exist.
How was your life growing up then? So you got diagnosed at 10. How was your teenage years?
Really difficult.
Because I didn't tell people for a long time, because I felt like, you know, in a way, I'll be honest, I probably felt like I couldn't. Yeah. How was your life growing up?
I mean, I didn't really understand it, and no one really sat me down and kind of explained it. They were just like, this is what you've got. and this is, you know, this is what's up with you. And I was just kind of like, it didn't really make a difference. Like, teenage years were hard because I was still the kid who was made an example of out of school, and like, you know, his handwriting's a mess and he's always late and blah, blah, blah. So I just kind of rebelled.
Was it kind of like your, like, you know, the way you are, just like what made you you?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you make it
yeah, exactly, pretty much. So yeah, in school days, I just skipped school. I just wouldn't go towards the end, which probably in an ideal healthy world wouldn't be the way to do it. Like, nah, I'm just gonna sack it off. Yeah. I mean, it's worked all right, right? We're okay. So yeah, that was it really. Growing up, it was just a case of rebelling with the dyspraxia. But then obviously, as I've got older and I went back to college after my eldest daughter was born, we went and studied music, and then moved from Oldham to New Brighton about 5 years ago, which has been amazing.
How was growing up in Manchester?
It was good. It was good. I love going home. I've still got lots of friends there. I've still got parts of my family there. I love it. I love the togetherness of it. My town of Oldham is like a very diverse melting pot where everybody, there was people of different cultures, different faiths, but nobody's really got like a pot to pee in. So everyone's just in the same situation and everyone just
There's a beauty in that though, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely.
And an authenticity can't be priced.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love that. Like, that's really similar to like my childhood as well. Cheers to
Thank you very much.
Cheers to that, and thank you for being so open about your dyspraxia. So do you think, like, now, how is your life now? Today with dyspraxia, how has it changed your life in any way now?
Honestly, I wouldn't change a single thing about it. I love being dyspraxic. I do loads of stuff. I've been on podcasts to raise awareness. Every time, like, I mention it in songs, everything that I do kind of brings back. There's two things that I love to really, really big up, and that's the dyspraxic side of things and mental health as well. Amazing. Those are two big focuses on my music. Like, I try to take, obviously, because I make hip-hop music, there are a lot of connotations of, like, the violence, like I was saying before, the 50 Cents, the G Units, I've got guns and ladies and blah, 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 blah. But we try and flip that on its head. So I make acoustic-based hip-hop music that's really deep and is more about reflecting inwardly, like within yourself and trying to find that happiness.
How did you find your voice, your tone?
Good question. I think that just with a lot of practice, and a lot of the years that I've spent just owning it and refining it and just growing more confident within myself, because don't forget, like, when I first started music, I was still that person who was so within themselves, so absolutely ripped to self-confidence, so didn't really feel like he had a purpose in the world. Like, music saved my life. I always tell people,
cheers to that.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. I always say, if it wasn't for music, I'd probably be in prison or dead. Like, it's that serious. It's that serious. It literally saved my life. The only thing that I'd put on a par with music is the birth of my children. Like, both of those two things just completely changed my life around. So now, like, moving forward and where we are, it's all about giving back. I've seen the power of music. I've seen the power of having people around you. In my case, my children, who can build that confidence and build that. So you're untouchable.
So
I feel like I'm bulletproof.
What are you doing going forward now?
Okay, right.
Craigie, UK Craigie, what is the next step for you?
What I really want to do, and what I'm making plans to do, which is really exciting, I am making plans to open a business called Rap for Mental Health. Now, we're going to have this company, right? So what we're planning on doing is taking this into schools, and we teach kids over 4 or 5 weeks. We have 4 or 5 sessions, and we take them from somebody who's insecure and who's struggling because of the COVID stuff, everyone's been hit mentally. We're going to take children who are a little bit rough around the edges, and we're going to mould them into people who can really write this song and just get this expression out there. So we're going to take them and we're going to teach them how to rap.
And find themselves?
Yeah, exactly, and find themselves through rap, because it's so important. It's so important. So that is the main thing I'm concentrating on.
That is incredible.
Yeah, and then obviously alongside that, we're putting out music all the time. New album. My last one came out in September called Ghost in Time, and the response to that was amazing. I'd love to quickly tell you about a song on there. So, right, I had a friend called Kev, and this is going to be really deep, so I apologise, right? I've got a friend called Kev. Now, he was really ill at the time. He had cancer in his throat, right? And he got the treatment, and it went away, and he was okay for a little while. Then it came back really viciously. We know each other from football, and he's a wonderful man. He's always had time for me. So the cancer came back, but it came back really harshly. And he went from somebody who was always fishing, he was always spending time with his family, to somebody who was stuck inside of his house. He had chemo, it wasn't working, he had everything. Told me that he was terminally ill. I was devastated, I cried with him on the phone. And then time passed and he just deteriorated so quickly. He ended up having to get married in his house. He had dreams of going to Thailand, couldn't do it. Had to get married on his couch with his wonderful wife, Kathy, right there. And just before he passed, he said to me, he said, what I'd love you to do, because he's always been a big supporter of my music, so what I'd really love for you to do is write a song for me. So the legacy and people remember me and everything else. And the really sad, bittersweet part is I'd finished the song and I was getting ready to send it in, and he literally passed away 12 hours before the song was finished. So I'd sent him the song and he wasn't here anymore. I sent it to his wife because I was like, oh my God, I'm devastated. I was like, I finished this song. She said, I really love that. She said, not only do I want you to come to the funeral, I want to play that song at the funeral. So his body's coming into the church, and this song that I've written for him is, yeah, the biggest honour, the hardest thing I've ever done, but the biggest honour I've ever had in my life. And that's the beauty of music. That's the power of music. To
UK Craigie, what a career, what a moment, and what a being you are. Thank you so much. What a powerful story and moment in time that you've told us. Your great friend will know and is aware, and forever, forever in that song. So thank you so much, UK Craigie. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Drinks with MJ.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Cheers, MJ.
Yes. Cheers, darling. Enjoy.
See you later.
Down the hatch.
Maybe not.